Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be replacing the EGR valve on our 1985 Chevy Caprice Classic. Okay, so now I have to hold my foot on the gas pedal here or it's going to stall on me. So if I back my foot off, it idles low and it wants to stall. And here's real rough. Just doesn't want to stay strong now that it's warming up. Come off slowly. Oh yeah. So as you just saw, on warm starts, you'll have a very rough idle. And if you're driving and you approach a stop sign or a red light, it'll really idle rough and stall out. So you look at the symptoms for that in the shop manual here, and several of them. If it stalls after a hot start, check the EGR valve. If there's hesitation or stumble, check the EGR valve. Rough, unstable, incorrect idle and stalling, check the EGR system. Won't idle, check the EGR system. This is the replacement EGR valve that I bought. I picked this up from Rock Auto. This video is not sponsored in any way from Rock Auto or by Standard Automotive Parts. First thing for safety, make sure we disconnect the battery. I'll take off the wing nut on the top, spin this out, take off the cover. You can leave the air filter in if you want. We're going to lift off the housing, disconnect, and pull this off the carb. I'm going to loosen this hose clamp here. Just set this back out of the way. On this other side here, just going to be careful to pull out the clip holding on the breather element. Don't lose that. And lift this off and gently separate it over here. Okay. Here's your heat riser tube. I hope you have this on here from the manifold. Set this to the side as well. Okay, now we can just lift this off. You're going to see you've got some other vacuum connections here. Remove this one vacuum hose here on the front of the carburetor, just to make it easy to have more room so we can remove this. You don't have to do this, but I'm going to do it as a reminder so I don't forget to reconnect it later. I'm going to put a piece of painter's tape here with a number and then another number on the hose. There's the two matching numbers. I'll just loosen the hose clamp here. Take that off like that. And now we can remove the entire air filter assembly, set it aside. Here is your EGR valve. This is the electronic choke on the side of the carburetor. And so I'll probably just remove this connection for the choke. And there are two bolts here to remove to get the EGR valve off. So the bolt on the top is a 3/8, as you can see here, but the access is tight. So to get to this and then the one on the bottom, I said I'll remove this vacuum hose here on the top. I'm also going to remove the connector right down here in the back to give us more room. Import at the top, and I'll just tuck this under here out of the way. Okay, I'm going to remove this clip right here first. Pop this out and slide this connector off. Okay, that rubber piece that we're going to remove is right there. And we're just going to wiggle that off. And you'll see there's two vacuum ports there that are left behind. So we'll take this and I'll just tuck this back out of the way. All right, now we'll take that 3/8 inch wrench and we'll loosen the bolts here on the EGR valve. So hook this on the top here And just loosen this seal down here for the other one. Same thing. Okay, when you have it all the way off like this, you can just untighten it by hand, and this should just lift right out like so. Okay, there's a better angle to show you where this came out. I'll back out a little bit here. Just your two bolts go in right here. Next thing we're going to want to do is take off the gasket that's on top here. It's this piece. The new one comes with a new gasket. Okay, so I just want to show you down in here close that you can see there is a little bit of carbon buildup in there. So I'm just going to vacuum some of that out and keep an eye on that for future work on the car. Okay, here's the old EGR valve, and you can see the bolts here. And then if I tip this back, there's the port that's controlled by the vacuum. And if I push on the diaphragm here, and if I put my finger over the vacuum port on the top, I push in, put my finger back there to seal that, and it still comes through. So that looks like it's a bad valve. Okay, here's the new EGR valve. You'll see similar port inside and bolt pattern. And this one comes with the new seal on top like so. And we'll get this lined up. Start threading by hand. So just as before, now we'll tighten these in with the wrench. Okay, now that we've got everything tightened up here and the other bolt on the other side, we'll reconnect everything that we had before. So if you remember, we had the vacuum connector for over here. So we'll fish this back out and check and make sure that the connections are all the way in. And then I'm just going to reach in here and reattach this. Okay, we have the connector as well right here. I'm just going to push that back in the same way it was in before. Now we have this for the top of the EGR, like that. Okay, we'll also reconnect electronic choke right there. Yes, a piece of that is missing on this side. Okay, so now we'll connect the air filter housing back. We have the hose connection first, so I'll just set this right over here. You can remove the tape that we had in place. Tighten this up and get the breather element through here. And the breather element clip. There. We'll attach the hose to the front there. And then tighten that down. Okay. Air filter back in. One thing we can't forget. And now we can put on the top of the air filter housing and reattach the wing nut. Just hand tighten this. All right, with everything connected back up, now we can reconnect the battery and then we'll start it up. All right, so we'll try a cold start here. We'll give the pedal 2 pumps all the way down to the floor. Wait a few seconds. And this time when I turn it over, I'm going to start pumping as well. Okay, so starts right up. We'll let it idle for a little bit, warm up, and see how it performs. All right, now we'll just kick it down. Okay, so far it's idling. Pretty good. Fingers crossed. And we'll shut it off and we'll do a warm start. We'll wait a little bit and then we'll restart it. All right, let's try the warm start. So far, very good. We'll put it in gear. Neutral. Drive. Take it for a little spin around the neighborhood here and bring it right back. All right, so just doing very slow here through the neighborhood, kind of medium throttle. Seems to be running fine. Got a little wobble there in the speedometer. That's another thing to fix. But I'm gonna brake here, come to a stop, in gear, and it's idling fine. Okay. Now we have the air conditioning running. Come to a stop again in gear. And it's idling fine too. This is great. Turn off the AC. Come back to a complete stop in gear. And put it in park. And reverse, neutral, and drive. Okay, so pulled it back in the garage now. Idle is very smooth. Little gas. And it idles. No stutter, no stall. And there you go. I think that fixed our problem. Thanks very much for watching.